Welcome to RetroQuest, I'm Jay. This is the show that gives me an excuse to revisit games from yesteryear on retro consoles with original hardware, just how they were intended. Today we're playing Chaos Engine on the Super Nintendo, which was originally released in 1993. Let's head on over to my comfy chair and boot it up. So here we go, we're over on the comfy chair and it's time to play some Chaos Engine. So this is it, it's a top-down run and gun shooter. It's actually based in a steampunk Victorian age and you can basically play as one or two players, but there are always two players on the screen. So whether that is me and the CPU or me and ideally someone with me, which would make the game a lot easier, as you'll see in a minute. So here you can see we're going to be choosing 2 of 6 possible playable characters. Each of them carries their own cost. We've got around 6,000 credits to spend here to get our team started. And you can see each character comes with different items, which obviously you can choose to combine in whatever way suits you. I haven't played this game for a really long time, so I'm not going to pretend to know all the ins and outs of this. We'll find out as we go together. But let's jump in. So I think we're going to choose the Brigand as my playable character. And player 2, we will give, let's have a look. Who looks like they might be effective? The Gentleman, well, the handgun. So we're going to jump in and we'll get cracking. So we basically have to traverse through 4 different landscapes across the game, activating nodes as we go, and then collecting and solving various puzzles. We can also upgrade our characters at the end of those levels in order to power us up for the next. So I'll have a little jump in, we'll see how far we can get. Here we go. So pretty rudimentary kind of controls. You've got that kind of diagonal option, which it's always been a bit awkward to do with the D-pad, but you can achieve it. Pretty rigid movement, pretty sort of typical of the time when it came to this top-down kind of shooting. And of course, that means you've also got the 8 dimensions of shooting in terms of direction. That's one of our nodes. And I don't know what these bad guys are meant to be. There's some sort of like, I don't know, they look a bit like either a rock creature or some sort of blue, fleshy, muscly character. I'm not quite sure. You can see the usual stuff on screen, health, etc., and my ammo for my special weapons. And then we've got these sort of keys, which for some reason on this level open up trees. But we'll have a look and see what else they open up as we go. Basically, they are the puzzle elements. It's seeking out the keys in order to move on to the next environment. Pretty simple controls. You've got to shoot, you've got a special weapon when you get one, and then you've got these items that you can pick up to keep yourself alive. There's a little gold key there. We've got some loot in here. There we go, so you can see I've got some special power-ups now, which is nice. You will notice that the CPU player doesn't really do a lot. He's not overly helpful. Unfortunately, the projectiles coming from these enemies are so slow moving, they're relatively easy to dodge, he says. Having taken a few hits already, there we go, first life lost. So this game was developed by the Bitmap brothers and published by Renegade Software in March 1993. I'd have been just literally 10 years old at that time. Interestingly, it was ranked 68th in Total's top 100 Super Nintendo games back in the day, which is quite interesting. It was also released on the Amiga and then ported to other platforms later in its life. And apparently, it says on Wikipedia at least, that the game was inspired by William Gibson and Bruce Sterling's novel The Difference Engine. I've never read it, but apparently the basic plot and stylistics are based on that novel, so maybe you want to check out if you like the steampunk world that they've created. And here we can see that's our first clearance. There you go, so level 1 of 4, pretty straightforward. So I say that now because I'm pretty confident I never finished this game. Oh, so we're still in the first world, my mistake. Eventually, this was available on Amiga, Atari ST, the Amiga CD32, MS-DOS, RISC OS, the Mega Drive or Genesis if you are outside of Europe, the Super Nintendo, mobile phones, Windows, OS X and Linux. So it's been around. I think some of those platforms were later in its life when it was ported and remastered. the actual remaster was released on Windows, Mac and Linux in 2013, so 20 years after its original release, with online multiplayer and global high scores. I must admit, I've never played those versions. I only ever played this back in the day on the Super Nintendo, so I cannot comment on the quality of those remasters, although now I am sort of intrigued to go and see what they look like, just out of interest really. Let's do a little bit more of World 1 and see if we can not die again would be good. So there's a key that unlocks a bridge, because why not? Oh, we've got some sort of spore attacking us. I mean, I've got to be honest, it's very simple looking, and I get that, but there's an enjoyment from these kind of old, classic, simple games. I just love it. Modern gaming's great. I take nothing away from all of the fantastic visuals and gameplay formats that we can now enjoy with modern gaming, but there is just something nice about sticking these kind of arcade-style classics into an old console and just being able to get on and play it. You know, especially like me, I'm a dad, I am time poor, I am being able to stick these things on and just enjoy them in the moment is great. Ooh, that took me back a bit. Let's try and avoid some of those frogs going forward. Oh, there they are again. Down the frogs. I should try a special weapon. Oh, there's my special weapon. Okay, so some sort of spray shot with this character. They're quite useful for those guys. Now, do we follow the silver key or the gold key? I think the gold keys are loot and the silver keys progress you, but it could be an early observation, that could be absolutely wrong. Oh no, here we go. Some loot and some coins, all good. Back we go. A few more blue ogre monster things. And this time we'll go and explore the other section. Jesus. These frogs are a pain in the backside. They really are quite a challenge. Oh, that was an instant special weapon. Didn't even get to choose when to activate that one. Down. Ooh, key, a key. Always the key. Was it unlocked there? Didn't see that do anything. Oh no! There you go, a brutal game. I only managed 1 world and 2 levels. We'll jump back in and we'll give that another go. We're not going to end it just there. We'll try a different combination of characters just to mix it up. So let's have a go this time. Let's try the thug with a shotgun, and let's have, is that a rocket launcher? Well, the mercenary might be more useful. Let's get the mercenary to join us. I'm pretty sure that you can have any combination of these 6. You never use all your credits. I'm not quite sure why. I think they just make you spend it so you can save some for a future level if you want to. So let's get into this then. So back when this was released, how was it received? Let's have a look. So Electronic Gaming Monthly gave the Super Nintendo version 6.8 out of 10, summarising it as a decent overhead shooting game in the spirit of Techno Clash and Gauntlet. They gave the Genesis version 6.4, and GamePro remarked of the Genesis version that the overhead view gunfighting has never played better. Citing their heavy challenge, solid controls and use of teamwork, they criticised the sprites as overly small, but also noted that the sharp artwork ensures that it's still easy to make out what's going on screen. I think that's a fair assessment. You know, they're not overly complex levels, and the character models are pretty straightforward, but it is easy to see what's happening. You never get sort of too lost in the combat, and even the characters that I'm seemingly having all sorts of troubles dodging, they don't really, you know, they could be dodged if you took your time and you learned the patterns. I'm rushing this a little bit and obviously trying to talk at the same time, so my performance is going to be hindered seriously by that. But we'll see if we can't get a little bit further through the game and try and get us to a different level if we can. I honestly don't know how far back in the day I ever got with this. As I said, it was a game I remember putting a reasonable amount of time into, but like a lot of games when I was a kid, you know, there were many that I didn't finish. I just enjoyed playing them, and only ever saw the first few levels. I was always surprised when I found out that the Tomb Raider games all tended to get a little bit wild and fantastical towards the end. I always assumed they were quite grounded in sort of, you know, real world animals and exploration. Yes, I know there's a T-Rex very early in that game. But that aside, I was always surprised to find those games ended in demons, because I never finished them when I was a kid. I don't think I ever saw the end of a Tomb Raider until probably PS2 days, maybe even beyond that. Managed to finish more of the recent ones, so you'll be pleased to know. I'll clear the level there. Let's keep going. Oh, the computer does nothing to help me there. Look, I mean, if you were playing this two-player, you'd have two people providing decent cover and fire. As it stands, you get really very little out of your partner in this. And we're on to World 2. So let's have a quick look at how the computer version fared. So Computer Game Reviews wrote that for the price, this is a must-buy if you like two-player arcade shooters, especially since another one for the PC may not come along for a while. This was back in 1995 though. Total ranked the Chaos Engine 68th on the top 100 SNES games. I mentioned that earlier on. Summarising, a sort of Jules Verne meets Arnie. This is a great cooperative challenge and very stylish with it. It was interesting to me, and this is maybe something we've seen change in modern times, but the comments there were really positive, and then the scores, I mean, they weren't bad, but they were pretty average. 6 point something out of 10 doesn't scream great, but yet the comments seem to suggest that it's much better than the scoring. So perhaps that's just an example of the time when it came to reviewers. Now I'm trying to stockpile my special ammo here just to see if that helps me get through this next few levels any better. Also trying to remember to use it. Why do I keep trying to do these weird angled shots? It is really strange in my head to not be able to shoot outside of these 8 axes, because obviously all modern games now give you much more flexibility when it comes to gun combat, and we've seen a lot of retro style games that modernise and solve a lot of these problems using current day tech. So it is slightly strange to be restricted to just those 8 points from a directional perspective, but I think with a bit of practice we will get there. Whoa, frogs, the goddamn frogs. So to contrast some of those scores, what's also quite interesting is Games Master gave it 90%, so they much more favourable than Electronic Games Monthly and Computer Game Review. It also won some awards, which might surprise you, especially given those fairly average scores in some instances. So Sega gave it the 1993 Game of the Year award, according to Wikipedia at least. Again, take that with a pinch of salt. In the Sega Awards in 1994, it also took Best Action Game. And in the Sega Awards the same year, it took the Best Third Party Game of the Year. So there you go. Amiga Power gave it the 11th best game of all time, which I can only assume was on the Amiga, but there you go. And then something called Mega, which I don't remember from back in the day, said it was the 15th best Mega Drive game of all time. So, you know, maybe you haven't heard of it, maybe you should have. It's a game that seems to be well regarded, and like I said, I really enjoy it. Can we make it to the end of the second level? It's genuinely quite hard, you know. My friend he's got loads of lives left and I've lost 3 already. Exit open. Oh. Yes, the end of level 2. Come on. World 2. World 1, level 2. I got there in the end. I'm not sure I'm going to get much further than this, but we'll keep going. We'll keep playing. Oh, here we go. So this is the end of the world. So now I can level up my character. What's going to be useful? I'm thinking an extra life. But I really haven't got much in the way of funds, have I? World 1, level 3. Oh, this is still just the first world. I'm really confused. Oh, God. Literally died and lost my life in the first second. Oh, we've got some new lizard people now. I'm going to go this way and grab the key. Oh, hello. Go all the way down here. Oh, that thing's shooting as well. This is a genuinely difficult game. And that's something else I think that is actually more prevalent in older games. Especially these kind of arcadey games, to get the most replayability out of them, because they weren't extensive. They had to basically make them harder to play. And it's more of that kind of arcade mentality of putting more coins in to keep getting more lives and keep playing. The actual experiences were often a lot shorter than anything we experience now, but you know, they had their fun gameplay loop as well. I'm going to choose for one last cycle through. I'll have that guy, and let's have a look at this slightly crazy looking fella down the bottom. Last crack, and then we'll call it for this video, I think. I'd love to hear your memories in the chat below. If you played Chaos Engine, you know, was it a game that you liked? Did you ever experience it? Did you try it on any other consoles or on PC back in the day? Again, my experience is purely based on the Super Nintendo, which is a console of mine that I am very fond of. Great memories of the console when I was a kid. Been on a bit of a journey buying a lot of these consoles, old consoles, and kind of building this collection back out of all those things I loved as a kid. Not necessarily highly valuable games in all instances, just ones that I had good memories of, and it's been a lot of fun. It's really enjoyable just kind of playing these things again and seeing them through sort of grown-up eyes, but also remembering the past. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and memories on these games. If you never played it, will you seek it out? Will you go check out that remaster? I think I might give it a look up, just out of interest, to see what it's like. It's also one thing that's nice about this is some older games can feel a little sluggish. This has got a nice snap to it. It's fast. It's the action itself is pretty full on. It doesn't really slow down very much, and I think it would be a lot of fun with a friend, a bit of couch co-op, just, you know, reliving the old days. So maybe I'll try and get some friends over and give that a whirl. Clearly I can't talk in game as well. This is something else I've already learned is going to be a challenge in the Retro Quest series, is trying to tell you what's going on and actually play well. That's probably also hinted by the fact that I'm just not very good at games anymore. There we go, first level smashed out again. Now I think we'll leave it there. So I hope you've enjoyed a little look at Chaos Engine. Apologies, it was only the first world and we didn't make it out of the forest. I'll give it another whirl maybe in the future and we'll come back to it and have another look at it. But yeah, that's Chaos Engine on the Super Nintendo. Thank you and well done for making it this far. If you like this sort of content, then please like and subscribe. I also do the odd live stream, so ring that notification bell so you don't miss future streams and episodes. If there's a game you'd like to see covered on Retro Quest, then please let me know down in the comments below, and feel free to share your memories of this game. I'd love to hear them. Until next time, remember, we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.